everyone. So we're going to do another project this morning. This is Dulcie from Dulcie's Creations. Welcome to my next video, my next project. And as you can see, I am at my laser and it's all set up to start going. So I hope you enjoy, and remember, please do like, subscribe, and if possible at all, share with your friends so I can grow my channel. Thank you so much. So let me take you to my laptop, or at least slide this over. Here we go. So that's the design I'm going to do. So almost like stockings on a fireplace for Christmas. I've picked a friend's name. She doesn't even know I'm doing it, so I'll probably just give this to her as a gift. And now where you see the red lines is where it's going to cut. The black lines will be just an engrave, and the blue line will actually be a fill. So my sequence is engrave, engrave, fill, and cutting. Because while it's doing the engraving and the engrave fill, you don't want it to move around because it's already been cut. So I always put the cut to the end. My piece of wood is there already. Now I'm going to put it down there, and I'm going to check the laser positioning. Yep, well in. Check the stockings are still within the wood. Yep. And now the top of it. Now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking some of this I want to change to cut. Let's bring you back to the laptop. Now this here, right, I'm going to change that to red. That there, I'm going to change it to red. Now if I wasn't holding my iPad, I would have just highlighted them all at once and changed them to red. I want those to cut. That's it. Now one thing I haven't shown you on here before, I don't think I have, but if I go to that little icon there, a monitor preview as they call it, it actually shows you how long this whole thing will take, approximately 11 minutes. Now of course I'm not going to have this on while it's doing all of that because you'll just get bored. So we'll start it off, and I will let's close the top. And start. Now, as you can see there, let's see if I can position you because it goes rather fast, the engraving bit. Let's see if I can bring it around this way. There you go, that's better. Even though that glares a lot, that is a lot better. So if I just take, there you go, it's now doing the holly. And the other side. Sorry about the glare, folks. Okay, so now it's going to stop. So I'm going to and I'll back a bit later on when it's doing the last bits of the name. So the two main names, Aileen and Michael, are in a new Walt Disney font, and then the top one, I'll actually check, it's Love Something, and I got them off one of the bundles that you get on the internet with fonts and all sorts of wonderful things, and both of these do have a commercial license. So if I were to sell these fireplace stockings, as I'm calling them, I would be allowed to, because it is there is a commercial line attached, a commercial license attached to the font. The stockings also have a commercial license. They the designers come off Etsy, so that has also got a commercial license, so I can sell them. That is one thing I do pay close attention if I'm buying patterns, SVG, DXFs, whatever it is, that there is a commercial license, because you don't want to be selling someone else's hard work if that's not what they want you to do. You know, if they want you to just, it's only for personal basis, then you know what, it's their prerogative, it's their design, so we've got to respect that. A lot of the designs do come already with commercial licenses. You don't have to buy an extra license. Some of them are really expensive, where unfortunately the price they've added to the commercial for it to be commercialized is a bit expensive, so some of them unfortunately not able to buy. I mean, there was a particular design that I loved, and for personal use it was at £7.80, I think it was. And all of them, all the designs that were for commercial use were then $19.20, so it is a lot of money. And if you're not selling them, then you've kind of paid all this money and you're not making anything out of it. So some of them are a bit too expensive, but there you go. Anyway, I've said enough. 6 minutes of blabbering away, and as you can see, those names are coming on wonderfully. So I'll bring you back just before it starts cutting. See you in a bit. Hi there, so I brought you back as the name is finishing. Now you might notice that the font at the top has changed. I did change it, it just wasn't coming out as nicely as I wanted it to, so I did change it midstream, which did mean I had to replace a piece of wood. I've turned this around, so once this is all cut and painted and whatever I want to do with decorating wise, I will put a piece of felt on the back of it, which will also, you know, help with if they're going to put it up against the wall or that, so that will be covered, won't be a problem. And now, as you can see, it is doing all the cuts. So these are the little bits that I went in afterwards and decided I wanted them to cut also. They were originally just for engraving. And there you go, it is now cutting the outside. It'll be rather exciting to see the stockings come to life. No, that's fine. I have to need what everyone puts in the cut. Well, that's your first stocking done. Or should I say my first stocking done. Oh, that looks quite good. And I have no idea why the laser makes a noise or it then goes silent as it's done now. It will start up in a bit again and stop making a noise. Don't know why it does that, but there you go. Now, of course, we are hoping that it is cutting everything nicely. Or I am. Fingers crossed. There we go. Let's leave it a few seconds so all the smoke can go out. we'll open it up. Let me put this down. You get the whole picture there. There you go. And hopefully, oh, look at that, it's cut brilliantly. Oh, I do love it when this happens. Oh. You guys see that? I am loving it. Now, one thing that just struck me, of course, is we do call my friend's husband Mike, so I am hoping he's a Michael. I'll have to check with her, otherwise I'm going to have to recut this. Don't know why I just assumed that, but I did. But we'll check. Anyway, I think now I'm going to do 2 more of these. Don't need to show you guys. And the next part of this video will be when I decorate them. Thank you so much for joining me. See you in a few minutes. For you, in a few seconds. Bye. So now I want to start decorating this. Now, before I start decorating it, yeah, I can actually do it after my first coat. So I'm actually still in my conservatory because, as you might be able to hear, the laser is still going. So I'm still doing a few more cuts and a few more of these. So I thought, well, instead of sitting here and wasting time, I could actually do some painting. Now I've still got the red here from when I did some, I think it was Christmas boxes last. So I thought, well, the red is here, let's go ahead and just use it. Now I've put my iPad in a way I've never really done it, so let's hope you do stay in camera. And I'm going to start with some red. Like I say, it's the only one I actually have in here. Sorry if there's a big mess around me, but it's not my shed. And to be honest, the shed also needs a bit of a clean up from when I did cards. I don't know why. I'm able to keep most of it clean if I'm doing painting or, well, mainly painting. But the minute it comes to cards, somehow it all goes haywire. It just all becomes a big mess. I don't know if it's because there's a whole lot of card all over the place and I want to be able to see what my choices are. So yeah, as I made Christmas cards, not last weekend, because last weekend wasn't a good one, but yes, it is the one side of my workspace, my craft haven as I call it, is still a mess. Need to get in there and clean it. It'll take me a few minutes. It's just a matter of putting cardboard away and putting some dies away, but everything has its place. So it will take me a few minutes, but then it will be all nice and neat. And considering I have got 2 or 3 projects on the go, I really do need to get in there and start cleaning up. So, oh yes. So I'm going to try, okay, so that end and that end, I think I'm going to make them white. Oh, and I have gone back to my friend and asked her if her husband is actually a Michael, and he is, so we're safe there. Or should I say I'm safe there, don't have to recut it. Not that this will be much of a surprise for her, because I did have to ask for her permission if I could use their names for the video. Don't think it would be right to use someone's names and on the video. Then again, I guess it doesn't really matter, because it's not like it's photos or anything. But hey, I did ask, so won't be much of a surprise for her. But at least she can enjoy the video and see how I get to put things together. Okay, now my laser has stopped cutting, So I'm going to pause this for a bit, get the next cut on the go, and then we can carry on here. I know it's still going. Not that I have too many of my paints here, so, and I don't want to be dragging everything inside, because then I'm dragging everything back outside. Now these lines that I am painting, I will go in later with some black and just make them pop. But even with the red, I mean, I'm just doing, this will be a first coat. I will sand it in between and then go in again. And then of course the final one will be a nice varnish. And final touches. Hoping not to mess too much at the top, because I'm thinking the top, I want to leave it like that, just with a clear varnish on it, so that you can see the wood. Obviously I'll sand it in between. The holly and that I am going to paint in green, and maybe put a little bit of bling where the berries go. Really, it's not one part. Well, I've never done it before, to be honest. I've not painted anything or done any major crafts other than my eggs on video. So this was the first time, actually. But I do have a very interesting project coming up that is definitely multimedia. It's going to involve a goose egg, it's going to involve some resin, some pebbles, some crushed grass, wood. You saw me cut the layer, well, I cut layers on a previous video that you will probably only see on that video. What else will it have? Of course, acrylic paint, mica powders for the resin, because I wanted to have some color, the resin. I'm actually very excited about it. Oh yes, and it will also have some clay. Oh, and the egg's already got some molding paste on it, because I didn't want a smooth egg. So that is also, yeah, that project is going to be full on multimedia, if ever I've seen anything multimedia. Again, it's a first time for me. It's either paper or wood. Definitely acrylics all over the place, but never something with everything mixed. Well, there you go, those are done. The laser has definitely finished, so we'll let that dry for a bit, and I'll see you in a few seconds. So I discovered I do have some white here in the conservatory from a project that I am still busy with. It's taken me months. So I have got some white here. It's not the best of white, because it has been watered down for what I needed it. But for the first coat, it's going to be perfect. So I'm just going to give it the white I wanted at the tips and the heel. And then I'll give it, once I've sanded it, I'll of course put a thicker version and a better white that I do have in the conservatory. It will look a lot better, but the end result anyway is going to be, it will be perfect. I think so anyway. It's what you generally aim for, I guess. My laser is still cutting away, and that's why I'm still in the conservatory. Sorry, hands in the way probably. Now what I do is I like to put on the edges, as you can see there, I like to color it in the same color. I haven't done the red because I'm still going to come back and do it. I hope my arm is not in the way. Nope. And just going to do it in there. Leaving the wood showing is also alright. But because every once in a while there are drops, it just makes it a lot easier to make it all the same. Sorry, I'm just trying to see when you're in camera and when you're not. As I say, I've got the tablet in a different position to what I generally would have, so it does make it a bit odd, difficult to try and see. There you go. So we're done, we'll let it dry. I do have another one that I have done in the meantime, and I also cut up. As you can see, that's my daughter and my grandchildren. Well, one of my daughters and one of my grandchildren. One set of grandchildren, should I say. So yeah, we were going to let this dry. I'll be back in a few seconds for you, or literally in no time at all. And once it's dry, I'm going to give it a sand, the first coat of, well, the first sanding. And by the time I come back, or by the time you see me again, it will probably be a second coat. Okay, so this is nice and dry now. Now if I take my hand, obviously it's a bit rough. That's why I sand it in between coats, so that it becomes silky. Okay, so just a bit of a sand. Now I'm doing a little bit extra here, is when I did this one, it was a little bit on the outside of the line. So I just want to neaten that up. Much better. So as you'll notice, just there, a lot of it has come off. So that's why it gets a second coat. But then usually with the second coat it stays nice and smooth, so that's good. Now I didn't do it on camera, but as you will see, the green I've already done, so now it will have a nice second coat on it. And then that's about it. I'm going to do the outline of the names in black, and then over there just black lines too, or maybe I'll put in some black bling. I don't know, we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, on to the second coat we go. While this one was drying, I did the second coat. I did the one coat on the one I'm doing for one of my daughters. That's also been sanded. And in the meantime, in between all of the cuts I've done today on my laser, I cut another one for my eldest daughter and her family, and did in the meantime send her a message to see whether she would like to paint her own, because in the past I have sent her things whereas the youngest would like me to paint it, and then the eldest says no, her and the children will do it. So, but no, she wants to paint it this time. So I have also done the first coat on that one. It's been a busy morning. I'm hoping to at least have this video uploaded this weekend, and post some photos on my YouTube and on my Facebook and my Instagram, and make them available. I have not worked out the price, in case you are all wondering, but by the time it goes onto Facebook and onto Instagram, there will be a price. And obviously on my there's always a link at the bottom of the video for my Facebook and my Instagram. Oh, and the other thing I did do with the white is I did put some of the pearlescent white. I'll end up by going into the shed and just getting some paint, otherwise I'd never get it done. And as you can see, I brought out some green too, because I think the laser is now just finished cutting my final project for today. So I will finish painting this and then head out to the shed, do some tidying up and finish off a few projects, including this one. Are you still, oh sorry, I forgot, I didn't do the red on the first time around, but I will do a few times before it is all finalized so that it's nice and red to match the rest of the stockings. Now, you'll notice that this is a lot thicker than the one I was doing earlier on, because this is not watered down at all, straight out of the bottle, well, from the top actually. And it's beautiful pearlescent paint. I do love it. It is one of my favorite ones. It's called, here you go, oops, pearlescent white, and it's De La Rowney acrylic. Now just to do on the edges. The thing about doing the edges while the paint is still wet is because it will always be a little bit on the top, and while it's still wet then you can go in and just smooth it out. So that is why it's easier to do it at this point. I find a lot of people that work with MDF, or I'm working with plywood, not MDF, don't do the sides at all. They like the look of the wood. I do too, but because I know there are times when I do make a mess, then I don't want it to look messy. I don't want it to be half colored and half wood. So this way it is all uniform. Now I had what I thought was a lovely little paintbrush. Don't know if you can see it. Now if you look at those bristles, they're all coming apart, and that's why the green was looking a little bit dodgy, whereas this one is a lot nicer. So, but now at least I've taken most of it out. It doesn't look as messy as it did. And this is Duncan Ultra Metallics green. Usually use this for my eggs, but I love it because it's got such a beautiful sheen to it. It's one of my favorite greens to work with. You know when you learn to color and everybody says do it within the lines? Oh Dulcie, do it within the lines. It's already gone a little bit out. Such a happy Christmassy green, I find. Oh, I need to sand a little bit there. Some of the red has come out, probably my fingers, making a mess of it all. Once all dry and I'm finally happy with it, I will go on the inside of the leaves and either make it brown or gold. I mean, it's got to look lovely. It's Christmas, I guess. Nope, I'm not a big Christmas fan, to be honest. I guess because most of the time I'm not always with my family. I am hoping that this year I do go and see my parents. But I think since the kids grew up and left home, and because I don't have grandchildren who visit on Christmas or anything, if I have a Christmas tree or not, it doesn't really bug me. It's neither here nor there. Bah humbug, I guess. Anyway, let me hold up this so that you can see how beautiful the green is without making a mess on everything. Can you see the shine in the green? I think it's so pretty. See the red over there? We'll have to sand that out. Okay, folks, I think the next time you see this, I'll be putting on the final touches, just so that there's at least a proper finish to the video. But yeah, don't think you want to keep seeing me paint and doing bits and pieces and messing up. But there you go. I'll see you all in a few seconds. So this is almost done. It's had 2 coats. I've done the letters at the top and the letters. Let me just hold that the correct way so you can see it. So now I just want to put some pearls or fake pearls along there and along there and then along there. So I'll do that now with all of you. This glue will dry clear, so it doesn't matter if it actually just moves slightly under it, or you can see it, because it will dry clear. So I'm not too worried about it. This is called Trunk Gunk, and it's mixed media MDF bookbinding glue. It's brilliant. It holds so well. I just tipped some into a little bottle, so I've got a much smaller what do you call it, exit, because that is pretty big on the original bottle. So I just wanted something small so that I don't get too much on the wood. I think what's happening is it's drying on my hands, and as I lift my hands, it's coming with. Come on. It's really, really good. And it's mixing it right. I think. No, I could actually. No. I need to use my next one. I just want to it really is usually good this way. It does genuinely do a good job. Spread it out there. Maybe what I need to do is do a straight piece and then bend it, and there won't be as much friction. Let's try this. So all I do is just burn the tips of the string that is on the beads, or flat pearls. Not too sure what to call them. So I've decided to use my Yoo-hoo because it seems to be reacting against the paint, which is the first time it's ever done that, and I do not know why. So I'll just use this. I find it just as good. so I'm just going to put it there. So from the time I started cutting it to this point, it has literally taken me about, I don't know, I think I started cutting them, it was about 11, 11:30, and it's now just after 8 in the evening. So it has taken a while, but to be fair, I have done, well, cut quite a bit this afternoon. Well, yeah, in between painting these and that. Cut a few decorations, a few baubles. But also did another 2 of these. And they almost also, at this point, I'll actually show them to you just as soon as this one's done. Okay, so and we have it. I think it turned out really, really well. I think it looks very cute. Now once it's dry, I'll take away all these spider, it's like spider webs, isn't it? I'll just let it dry properly and then take it off. But yes, that's it. It's done. Thank you so much. Oh, let me show you the others at what point where I am with that. So this was the second one I cut that I showed you earlier on for my youngest daughter and her children. So my youngest daughter and the grandchildren there. And I've decided to put a little bit of glitter there. I'm just waiting for that to fully dry and then put it in the family. But otherwise, that's almost done. Just need to put the little berries on. And then this one, which is my eldest daughter and her family. As you can see, there's still a bit to go with that one. The name still needs to be done. This needs to be sorted. But yes, I'm quite pleased with how many I've done. And I think what I also like about the fact is that I've got 2 stockings, 3 stockings, and 4. And these can go for, I think, as far as 11. But of course, I might not be able to make 11 because it does, of course, depend on how many I can fit on my laser. And my laser really is only the size of an A4. So I don't think I'd be able to fit 11. Otherwise, it would be far too small. But there you go, guys. Once again, thank you so much for being with me today. Please do remember to like, subscribe, share my channel, share the link. Do me, just share so that I can grow my channel. Thank you all so much, and I will speak to you all very soon. Stay safe, stay well, and have a lovely weekend.